So in the next question, when I look at a question like this again, what we are doing is that we want to take a shortcut. We want to see how best I can solve it with the minimum calculation. That is what I'm trying to do in all these questions. So again, using brute force, you can do x cube plus, you can apply a plus b whole cube and try to do this. But again, that would be a stupid way of doing the question. So again, we have to understand how to do this question. Now, if you see the manipulation, what I've done is I've taken this term on the left hand side. Then what I have done is I have broken this minus 20. Basically, this minus 20 has been sort of replaced by a plus 500 and a minus 500 term. I hope you are able to understand this manipulation. So this was x minus 20. This was x minus 20. What I did was this minus 20 is still here. But what I have done is I have introduced a new, basically I have introduced two new terms, plus 500 and minus 500. Now how will they help me? Let's see. Now my expression has become x plus 500 cube. This is x plus 500. This is x plus 500 cube. And this minus 500 and minus 20 is minus 520, which I have taken to the right hand side. Now, if you look closely at this expression, I will reduce, what I will say is that let y would be equal to x plus 500. And this expression will reduce itself to y cube plus y is equal to 520. Now, please try to understand. First, we were dealing with the expression which had 500 in it. But now we have reduced this to something where this x plus 500 thing has gone, this cube has gone, and we are just dealing with a small y cube. So at each step we are trying to reduce the load. That is what we are doing. These are the manipulations that we are doing. And when you do questions like these, you understand that these are the kind of manipulations which are available, and you should have a skill set of thinking through such kind of shortcuts. In the next step, what I'll do is, so this is what I have reduced it to. Now, one thing that you need to understand is that in all these y cube equations, so for example, in equations like ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d is equal to 0, in all these y cube equations, one thing that you need to understand is that plus minus 1, plus minus 2, and in lesser cases plus minus 3. Usually these are the solutions that you will get. I'll repeat, in all the cubic equations, plus minus 1, plus minus 2, plus minus 3, using hint and trial, usually one of these factors are the solution of a cubic equation. But in this case, if you see, even if you go to 3, what will happen is 3 3 is 9 3 is 27 plus 3, 30, but there is a minus 520 here. Now you should have the understanding that these small numbers won't do. So I'll have to take a bigger number. A bigger number, maybe if I take a number like 7. So 7 7 the 49, and 49 7 the 63 343 plus sign. Again, it's a bit small number. So your calculation should be a bit fast. But when I take 8, and luckily when I take plus 8, this 8 is a factor of this cubic equation. Because as I've told you, in all these cubic equations, usually these cubic equations are made so that there would be one factor which will very cleanly, which would be a very clean factor. So you won't get a complex fraction. In all these questions, this is usually happens. So y is equal to 8. So y minus 8 is a factor of this. Now you will understand using factor theorem. You might have done that in class 9th or 10th, class 10th. Now I can divide this y cube plus y minus 520 with y minus 8, and I'll get a quadratic expression here. a quadratic expression in the form of the quadratic expression would be in the form of ax square plus bx plus c. But again, one method of solving this is using the long division method that is usually taught in class 9th and class 10th. But again, you should be aware of that there is something called a synthetic division. Synthetic division. You should know how to, instead of long division, synthetic division is a very easy way of doing the questions. If you don't know synthetic division, I have a lecture. I'll put the link here in which I have taught synthetic division. You can have a look at this synthetic division lecture. It's a pretty uh, good lecture, about 20-22 minutes long. I have taken one or two examples also. So please have a look at this. But don't go for long division. Synthetic division is always preferable in these kind of questions. So I'll take y minus 8, and this is this thing, this step is part of synthetic division. I won't go into the details. You'll have to look at the lecture which I have shown you. I'll put the link also. So using that, the you see how easy it becomes. That if y minus 8 is one of the factor, the quadratic expression that I'll get is, I hope you are able to see, the quadratic expression that I'll get is y square plus 8y plus 65. Y square plus 8y plus 65. So now this is, I factorize this, and this is my quadratic expression which I have to solve. Now again, if you try to solve this using the minus b plus minus b square minus 4ac solution, again this will become a headache. So we'll use completing the square. So this is another thing that you will, another trick that you will understand in this question. So y square plus 8y plus 65, I'm going to use completing the square method. And completing the square method, what is done is that I'll make this expression y square plus 8y in the form of a whole square. So this can be written in the form of this, and then so basically it's one and the same thing. If I understand that this is equal to y plus 4 whole square, then 16 plus 49, 16 plus 49 is equal to 65. Hope you are able to understand. So 16 plus 49 is equal to 65. So another way of looking at this is that I have broken 65 into 16 and 49, and 16 helps me make this as a complete square. Then I take 49 on the right hand side, and this becomes plus minus 7 iota. I hope you have some idea of the complex numbers. Basically, iota is equal to iota is equal to uh, root of minus 1. This is known as iota. I have a series on complex numbers also. I'll try to put the playlist here also. You can have a look at that. Simple introduction to iota. You can have a look at that. Again, this is something which I won't be discussing here. So my 5 plus 4 is equal to 7 iota. My y plus 4 is minus 7 iota. So this is one of the y. This is the other another y. But please don't forget what your y is not the final answer, because you had substituted for y. And what was your y? Let me take you back. Let me clean this first. So please remember that y is not the final answer. I think you'll remember this now. So y was equal to x plus 500. So now that you have calculated the value of y, there are three values of y. One is this 8. Then we have minus 4 plus 7 iota and minus 4 minus 7 iota. And using, so these are the three values of y. And using these three values of y, our answer is x is equal to minus 492, x is equal to minus 504 plus 7 iota, and x is equal to minus 504 minus 7 iota. One thing that you need to understand is that if this is a real factor in a cubic equation, is one factor is real, the other two factors, if they are complex, they would be conjugate pair. Conjugate pair implies that they would be plus minus in the form of plus minus. So this is a pretty interesting question, because see, in a question like this, if you try to understand, so how many new things you understood. One was how to reduce this big expression so that it becomes in the form of y. So this is the first thing that you understood here. Second, I think you would have understood that in a cubic equation, using hit and trial, you can find a you can find one of the factor, and that factor is usually a easy factor, comfortable factor. This is the second thing that you would have learned. Third thing, if you didn't know, you would have learned something about that there is something called a synthetic factor, synthetic division. I'm sorry. And so what I'm trying to say is that when you do questions like these, there are always a few things, few new things that you understand. And hope you find this interesting. And please have a look at the other lectures also in this playlist. And please like this, please share this. It helps the algorithm, helps this video reach new people, helps the channel reach new people. So thanks.